What's up, beer drinkers, and welcome to a special cold brew podcast. It's another Tap That Takeover, and this month it's with Johnsons Brothers Maverick. They are a distributor of fine wines and spirits. I was fortunate to talk to a wonderful sales rep. Her name's Alana Hanscome. Her area or territory is right there in downtown, including Tap That Downtown. Now, I think some of you might be out there be thinking, but isn't this a beer podcast, Greg? And yes, you are right. And I was, it was a last minute change. We had a difficulty scheduling a beer partner. In fact, it was supposed to be a cidery from out here in Arizona, but they had to postpone and switch it. And it's I'm grateful that Roisin was able to find someone. And plus, you know, one does not live on beer alone. And Alana's great though because she could talk beer. So we talked beer a little bit because one of her first gigs was over at SIP. And so she learned about craft beer through there. But, you know, to her own consent, she really likes spirits more. And but they also Johnsons Brothers Maverick also sells wine too. So yeah, we talked a little bit about everything. We talk about spirits, we talk about wine, we talk about beer, we talk about Alana, we talk about myself too. It was great. I had a great time, and I couldn't have been happier with our conversation. So I hope you like it too. Don't forget to follow us on Untapped and on Instagram. Search Cold Brew Podcast. Follow Tap That Downtown on Instagram and find out that they have a anniversary party coming up this weekend. And I'll be there on Sunday afternoon. I'll be there. Check out Johnsons Brothers Maverick website. Go to maverickbev.com and check out all their wine suppliers and spirit suppliers. So without further ado, here is Alana and I talking about beer and wine and spirits.
For the distribution side of the world, which I think maybe not many, average people coming to the bar know how liquor distribution and spirit distribution works.
Yeah.
So restaurants and bars can't just go to Trevor's or their local grocery store and buy spirits and wine for their spot, right? So they work with distributors to sell those directly to them, just like they do for food. So yeah, I work for Johnsons Brothers Maverick. It's a mouthful of a name. We just got bought out by a larger company called Johnsons Brothers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they're great. So yeah, I distribute wine and spirits to a bunch of restaurants and bars in downtown Phoenix, a little bit of uptown Phoenix too.
How long have you worked for them?
About a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where? Did you go to school for that? How to sell?
Oh gosh, no.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the abridged version of the story. So I was a bartender for about almost a decade, and then dipped my toe into marketing and PR world. Also did some web design, copywriting work. Had my own business that was a COVID project, and then ended up doing making a cocktail program and becoming a beverage director for a restaurant in downtown Phoenix here.
Oh wow! Okay.
So did that for about a year, and then Maverick approached me when I left that role and asked if I had ever considered doing sales, and I said absolutely not. But I love their book. I love all the wines and spirits that they carry and kind of their ethos of small producers and family brands and added free tequilas and just really good stuff. And so I was like, if I would do it, I would do it with you. And so it's been a year and a half, and I love it.
Yeah, I went on the website, on the Maverick website, and just to see what kind of brands you had.
Yeah.
And the one that stuck out to me, I was trying, as humans, we like making connections, was from the Central Valley of California, because I'm from California originally. With Opalo.
Oh, yeah.
And that was my aunt's favorite winery. In fact, she lives in the area, so she gets them. She used to get them more often.
Yeah, awesome. They're definitely one of our bigger, more well-known California producers. We have quite a few in the book, but I sell that one to a lot of spots.
That's
it's
good.
A favorite.
Yeah, so I've had their wine quite a few times. I haven't been to their winery, but I've had their wine at some festivals out there in Paso Robles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of great wines coming out of Paso right now. So people like to be kind of, well, maybe don't like to be, but they're a little doom and gloom about the wine industry right now, and like kids these days aren't drinking and whatever. But there's a lot of small producers, and especially in California and Paso Robles. Paso Robles is actually doing really, really well right now.
Yeah, and I was really bummed out when Meridian got bought out by a larger company because I used to love they had a white Zin that was just amazing.
Yes, we love a white Zin.
You don't really see them too often anymore.
No, I think that there's like a weird stigma, or like, oh, that's like my grandma's wine, but they're delicious. The same thing with Merlot. It got killed off by that one movie.
Oh, Sideways.
Yes. But so that literally gets referenced all the time in my world. Like, oh yeah, genuinely the Merlot sales got decimated because of that movie, which is just crazy that it can have that much of an impact. Yeah.
Yeah, one blowhard's opinion, right? On a movie.
Yeah, but Merlot's coming back. We're slowly starting to see it creep back onto wine lists.
No, I like Merlot. I grew an affinity for reds.
Yeah.
Merlot, not the top, but pretty close. Like cabs and I like the more the berry. I don't like the spicy reds too much.
It depends for me. I love like a really juicy, fruit forward, like a Cab Sauv, things like that, to just drink by itself. Mm-hmm. Like if you hand me a Barolo or something like that just by itself, I am not into it. But paired with the right food, it's delicious. So there are certainly wines for me that are like food wines versus everyday drink whenever wines.
Oh, that's a good point. In fact, there's a whole little cottage industry in the beer scene, pairing beers with food,
Oh, actually, I hadn't even really thought about that as far as pairing. What kind of pairings do you see most frequently? Like
a lot of times, if you have like hot foods, like say like some hot wings or something, you want like a Pilsner or something light and everything. If you have like a burger or something, you want maybe like an amber or like a malt forward pale ale, something like that.
Sure. What are people pairing the super crazy hoppy IPAs with, the double and triple IPAs?
Oh, well, like myself, I love IPAs, so I'll pair it with anything.
Mm-hmm. That's your everyday quote unquote wine that you just drink whenever.
I prefer IPAs more than anything else.
Sure.
I'm an IPA guy.
Yeah.
A sucker, just like. And I wasn't when I first started this podcast.
Yeah.
As some of my listeners know, I've told this story hundreds of times, but maybe not hundreds, but you understand what I'm saying. I actually didn't really care for hoppy beers at all. I think the hoppiest I would be Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Which now in hindsight, you're like, that's baby stuff.
Yeah. But back when it came out, it was like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
This is crazy. But that was like one of my go-to beers back in the day. And then I didn't understand the whole IPA craze.
Sure.
And then I actually, I grew up Catholic, so the season of Lent, you give up something for Lent. I gave up all beer except for IPAs because I knew I didn't like them.
Oh, that's funny.
It was like the reverse thing. My brother called it IPAs for Jesus. And I developed an affinity for IPAs. And now
it backfired.
Well, no, actually, it helped me appreciate the style, So it may be to my detriment because now I just choose that rather than... I still try to drink the full gamut of the beer industry, though.
I feel like I've heard that from pretty much everyone with IPA. I was the same for me. Like I did not like IPAs when my first bartending job was as a beer tender at Sip Coffee and Beer Garage. So I was very much in the craft beer scene. But that was
Scottsdale?
The one over on 36th Street in Indian School.
Okay.
But yeah, so when I first started drinking, I was like, this is not for me. And still to this day, I prefer more of the juicy, like West Coast style or East Coast style to the West Coast style. But I feel like it's an acquired taste, certainly.
It really can be. But I've also read stories, and I don't know if they're like attributed to anything. Maybe it's just anecdotes. But it seems like there are people who like them almost immediately. We all have our own taste, but more women than men like them immediately than.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So they're just it's one of those. Maybe it's just a correlation of some kind. But so you were a bartender, and Did you like when someone's like, oh, just give me a beer? Was it like, it's boring, fine, but here you go?
No, I feel like because I started in the craft beer world, because we had cocktails at that bar, but that was just like a fluke of a job. I just moved back from San Francisco, and a friend of a friend was like, we're opening a coffee shop. And I was like, sure, I'll come work there. And they literally just asked us, like, who wants to work nights versus daytime? Like, if you want to learn to bartend, raise your hand. And I was like, sure, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And so because we were so craft beer focused, I think at that time we had like it was some like 24 to 30 beers on tap.
Yeah.
And the guy who was running that program, his name's Brian. I think he has a little shop up in Sedona Flagstaff area now. I've lost touch with him. He had such an amazing palate and knew so much about beer. And so we had a really well curated, really beautiful beer list, especially at that time. This was 2016, I want to say. So like very much in the like, IPAs were still kind of blowing up. It wasn't as big, like Modern Times hadn't even expanded to the extent that they ended up expanding at that point. So this was kind of earlier on in that craze. So now, even though I've gotten more into craft spirits and now wine, to me, it's like a time and a place for everything. Like I never poo-poo someone's choice. Like if you want to order a vodka soda, great. If you want like a, Pabst Blue Ribbon, awesome. Like we can nerd out too, but also I'm never going to poo-poo someone's drink choice. Right. Yeah.
What kind of drinks do you like to drink? Like when you're just when you're going out?
Yeah, spirit. Well, I'm kind of boring now. I usually just go like gin and soda because I'm not a tonic person. But if I'm feeling fancy, I usually gravitate towards like gin or rum drinks. So like I'm a sucker for a good tiki bar. But even just like a gin gimlet or some kind of like a spritzy thing with elderflower if I'm feeling basic, or some fun liqueurs.
I'm not I've never really gotten into gin. It's hard.
So good.
I know. But it's got such a distinct flavor.
Yes.
That maybe it's like IPAs. Maybe I have to.
Yes.
Work my way up.
And that was actually my journey with gin too. It was the same with you as IPAs, because I started out drinking, I think kind of the gins we're all exposed to when you're younger, which is like the Tanqueray and the Bombay, like just very your grandfather's gins, like just like really intense juniper forward, like London Dry styles. And those they were an acquired taste for me, certainly. But I think actually as a beer guy, you might appreciate gin because there's such a breadth and diversity in that category. Same with beer. So like there's some really pretty light, delicate styles, like a Botanivore from St. George, which is really floral and light, or like Botanist, which is really salinity, and then obviously you have Hendrix that has a lot of like floral cucumber notes.
I've heard Hendrix. Some people have told me I should try Hendrix.
Yeah, there's like all kinds of like floral and light, or if you want to go super like it tastes like you're drinking a pine forest, and kind of everything in between. So it's a fun category.
Well, I don't know if you ever heard of the beer style called sati.
No, what's that?
It's they hop it or they bitter it with junipers.
Oh, okay. Where do they make that? Like,
it comes from up in the I want to say, I could be wrong, like the Norse country, like Norway and Sweden and Finland. I think it comes from there.
They do cool stuff with food and with beverages up in that part of the world. Maybe they're just, they're cold and they get bored, so they play with things.
Maybe they couldn't get any hops, right?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So you got to make do with what you have.
Improvise, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's really cool. Okay, well, I will certainly search for that because I'm curious now. I've never seen it before.
It's really hard to find, though, because you can't really find it too much around here. I'm sure if you maybe Total Wine or Beverages and More might carry it, or maybe just some off chance you see it.
Yeah, find it online.
Yeah, SAHTI, Sati.
Sati. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I
had it once, and it was funny enough, it was at a wine club. I'm from Santa Clara, California, and they used to have one. Unfortunately, their building got sold from underneath them, so they couldn't do anything about it. But it was called the Santa Clara Wine Club, and every first Tuesday, they had a beer pouring. And so my brother, he's like, my friend works there, so we used to go there once a month. And one time she put out, and she'd have like 5 beers. And I had no idea. Some of them were like amazing beers, like in the beer community. Like, oh my God, you have this beer? But one of them was a Sati, and that's the first time I ever heard of it. And I did some research. I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like it a lot. Is it like hazy? Like, what is kind of the profile other than the kind of bitterness from the juniper in it?
Oh, it looks like just like a light lager.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Fun. Okay, I will definitely check that out because that sounds really delicious.
It might be hard to find, but if you ever see it,
I'll search for it. I'm sure some of the nerdy bartenders here in Phoenix have heard of it and know where to find it.
There you go. Yeah, you just have to find the right nerd, right?
Got to find the plug.
Well, so are you from here? Or are you from?
Yeah, essentially. So I was born in Boston, but we moved out here when I was a little kid. So I'm an adopted native at this point. I've been out here so long. Still hate the heat, but been here for a while.
I know. I've been here since 2016, and there's no way I'm ever going to get used to this.
Did you come here from California?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What brought you out here initially?
My daughter.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Her mom got a job offer out here, and her mom and I have been separated for a long time now, and. But she got a job offer out here, and she was going to move out here with her And so I transferred from I work for FedEx Freight.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a location in Phoenix, so I transferred.
Perfect.
Just so I could be in my daughter's life.
I love that. That's great. How old is she now?
She is 14.
Oh, that's a
going on
crazy
15.
age.
Yeah. Yep, keeps me on my toes for sure.
I'm sure. Absolutely. I remember being that age. I'm sorry.
You know, there's some really great times
Of course.
with the headaches.
Yes, always.
But for the most part, she's a good kid. So
good. I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for a better situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
With her, our relationship is really good.
Good. I love that.
And I'm glad I moved out here, to be in her life. So
yeah, makes sense.
At first she always wanted to go with me to beer events. So can I go? Like, no, you're only 8. Like, I'm not going to bring you to a beer festival.
I don't know. I feel like I remember, well, obviously not like full drinks, but I was allowed to have little sips of my dad's Heineken, which, not the most fun of beers per se, but is she interested in like trying any of the beers, or has she ever done little sips of the IPAs? Does she like them, since she is a girl after all?
Yes and no. She doesn't like IPAs. She does like some of the fruited sours.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Because they're sweet.
They're so good.
Yeah, she loves candy, so of course.
I just had one the other day at the Theodore right down the street.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the brewery, but would love to be able to remember it and give them a shout out. It was a peanut butter and jelly sour.
Oh, okay.
And it is so good. I think I bought the last can, so I'm sorry you can't go get it, but they should be restocking soon. But it wasn't super tart and sour. It tasted like a straight up peanut butter jelly sandwich. It was great.
Yeah, I've heard of those. I haven't tried any of them. I'm not a big peanut butter guy.
Sure. Okay, fair.
I do love peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
You don't want to drink your peanut butter sandwich, though.
Yeah, I've had plenty of peanut butter stouts.
Oh, yes. I love. What's your favorite peanut butter stout you've had recently?
Well, the Belgian Beaver one always comes to mind.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Oh, and I'm drinking
it's hard to find, though.
I'm drinking a Belgian Beaver right now.
Fun.
Yeah,
is it IPA, I presume?
the
of course, yes.
The Deftones one. It's amazing. When they first came out with it, I think it was 2018 they first came out.
Okay.
Because they were doing a series with Deftones, and every year they came out with a different IPA. And when this one hit, this was like something different than they've ever done before.
Yeah.
And they keep brewing this one now.
Cool. I love it.
Yeah. So they have like 4. They stopped doing it every year, and now they brew like 2 or 3 of them. This is one of them.
Yeah.
The Phantom Bride. They named them after their songs.
Yeah, they do good stuff. I do like the Phantom Bride. It's hard to find the peanut butter milk stout from them. I feel like I don't see that one very often, and I love it.
Maybe they scale back and just do seasonal, but it could be a distribution thing. You know very well how that works.
This side of the world is very crazy, yes.
Yeah. So when it comes to the company you work for, how many brands? Do you know how many brands you have? And it's not just wine either, right? It's wine and spirits?
So it's wine and spirits. The only thing, ironically, given that you focus mostly on the beer, that we don't distribute is beer.
Okay.
But yeah, so we do wine and spirits from all over the world. So we have a pretty big domestic portfolio, but we have wineries from all over the place. So our biggest international portfolios that we cover are Austrian, German, Italian, Spanish, and French.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have some stuff from South America as well. And then the distribution side of the world is kind of crazy right now. I don't know if you've heard anything with like RNDC or if you're familiar with any of this.
Yeah, I know RNDC, yeah.
So they're kind of falling apart. So they just got bought out by a larger distributor called Reyes.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of Reyes too.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of shakeups happening with all of that. My SVP of my company just a couple weeks ago when everything first was happening, I was like, she said, even other than COVID craziness, obviously, like this is the most tumultuous time she's ever seen in our industry, and she's been in it for going on almost 20 years now. So,
to me, it's a little scary because now you think like some of these bigger brands are going to start buying them, and they're going to start controlling the distribution, which is not good for the smaller guys.
Yeah, it's like a weird world because as a part of that shakeup, like we've started acquiring more brands. Like I couldn't tell you how many emails I've gotten over the last couple of weeks, like announcing this new partnership. Like we were picking up new brands, which is great because it just gives us more opportunities to sell things. But it is interesting kind of seeing the consolidation of things. Like Maverick is still a pretty small distributor, all things considered. And Johnsons Brothers in other states is pretty large, but here in Arizona, they hadn't had a footprint. So thankfully
but they're not owned by like a Diageo or AB InBev or something.
No, so like the kind of the bigger brands, definitely have a lot more money to play with, of course. And so they want the distributors, of course, to focus on their brands. And so one of the reasons why RNDC, I think, has not done well and is now being bought out is because they just got really big really fast, and they lost sight of the smaller brands in their portfolio, and just had too many things in their book and didn't have the opportunity to really focus on those smaller brands. And I think it pissed a lot of people off. So we're seeing a lot of tumultuous change with that.
Okay, so those brands are like, you got a few brands because of that.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So people that are just like, hey, we haven't really seen any sales, any movement in Arizona. And so now with this new acquisition, we're not going to try and still stay with this, not to be offensive to them, but a lot of people are calling it like sinking ship vibes. And so they're jumping ship and trying to come to distributors that have been doing well and have been representing the brands that they work with really well and have been seeing sales growth. Because it's a whole tough industry out there right now. Yeah. I mean, with all the ingredients rising in costs and packaging rising in costs and now gasoline.
The surcharge and everything.
And we've definitely seen effects from, when everything was happening with the tariffs continuing to have issues, like there's definite noticeable effects you see on price and supply chain and just being able to keep things in stock. So that has been quite the headache for us.
Well, did that recent announcement from the government, how they're not going to impose tariffs on imported steel and that are already packaged, right? Like the beers and the wines that are already in those packaging, they're not going to tariff those, but they're going to tariff the raw materials that come here and the small guys have to use.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys have been talking about too?
We haven't necessarily been able to pinpoint granularly, okay, this is affecting it in this particular way, but just in general across the board, even our domestic producers have been having issues because we're seeing tariffs on just anything within the supply chain. So obviously there's the juice itself. So even if the wine's being made here in the US, but if aluminum, glass, all the paper for the labels, all of the machining equipment, and then obviously now gas prices, things like that, it all trickles up. And we've been trying really hard to not have those prices reflected in the product because, of course, restaurants also have super thin margins. I don't know why any of us do this business.
I know
it's
restaurants
not lucrative.
You ever say what you will about John Taffer, at least he exposed and it opened my eyes on how hard it is in the restaurant business to make a profit.
I love that show. I think it's honestly very fun. He's very abrasive, but one thing I have noticed in my time in the restaurant industry is that you'd be surprised how many places are just held together by duct tape, whether that's restaurants or kind of distribution side of things. I just feel like a lot of people don't necessarily have the best handle on what their numbers are, what their actual bottom line is as far as labor or how much ingredient cost is going into these cocktails. It's pretty crazy.
And if you're someone who thinks about getting in this industry, unless you work in it or have that much passion for it, you have no idea what's going to happen.
For sure. I think, it's obviously, even when you're inside of it, working in the restaurant industry, I love hospitality. I don't think I'll ever leave it. Even though I'm on this side of things now, I still consider myself someone in hospitality. I just happen to be, the bars and restaurants are now my guests. But the way that it all kind of works together and how you have this really close-knit community with your guests and with your team, there is something really magical about that. And food and drink is just a fun experience in general. Every important person in my life is in my life because of restaurants, cafes, one way or another. But I think people get too caught up in kind of the excitement and the glamour of that and don't necessarily realize how it is it's a tough industry to build something successful and not feel stressed all the time.
Because coming from the beer industry, a lot of these people who are home brewing and stuff like that, and they're having a good time, and they go to beer bars or breweries, and they're having a good time. They think it's a big party, but then they get into it and they realize, oh my God, no, there was 90% of this is hard work.
Yeah. Well, and with beer specifically, and I don't know enough about the production side of things or distribution from beer because I haven't had experience with it. But I remember when I was creating a cocktail program for a restaurant here downtown, I was doing my margins for my cocktails and building out my ingredient costs and trying to figure out labor for all the prep that would go into that and like figuring out margins on wine. The margins on beer are crazy. I don't know how beer bars make any money. Like my margins on beer was even more challenging than my cocktails, my wine. I was like, holy crap, this is crazy.
Yeah, they have, this place serves food, so that helps.
Yes,
so, there's a
definitely.
little different. And they also have a lot of events to get people to come in.
Yeah, you've really got to rely on marketing and getting butts in seats, certainly.
Yeah, but then I know there's some beer bars out there that are serving American macro because that's what their customers want.
Yep.
So they have to, and they did probably on onset they didn't want to do it.
Sure.
But they have to do it just because they have to keep the roof over their head.
Yeah.
Because if they don't have that, then they can't serve the ones that they want to.
Yeah, there's definitely a fine line and a balance between like, okay, just because I love super nerdy, like juniper hopped beers that no one has ever heard of, like, okay, I might like that and it's really cool and that'll attract like a very small like demographic of people, but you also got to have, the Miller High Lifes and things like that to attract more volume. So
in that vein, like how much involved are you, like, because if you talk to your clients, and then they give you feedback, can you give direct feedback to the wineries and the distilleries on what, or is it just they have to look at the numbers, what they're selling out here?
That's an interesting question. I haven't run into too many, because everyone's palate's different. So it's been kind of shocking to intellectually, but it's different when you have a day where I have 6 different meetings. We're tasting half a dozen different wines with 6 different accounts, and I can have half the people really love this particular rosé, and the other half will be like, oh, that's disgusting, I hate it. And so I've kind of learned to never pre-qualify. Like even if there's a wine in my book that I love and I think is really fascinating and interesting and delicious, I'll present that to people and they may hate it. And so I've learned not to pre-qualify like who's gonna like what, or even if there's something that I think is like not as interesting of a wine, someone else might love it. And so when I get feedback from people, it's usually, I think actually the only one I've consistently received feedback on was actually a non-alcoholic product that we work with, which I won't name because it's a great brand. I don't want to speak badly of it. No, of course not. Yeah. But they released a new product, and the consistent feedback I got from people, which I did agree with as well, was, oh, this isn't sweet enough. Like I want there to be more body. I want it to be a little bit less bitter. And so I actually did give that feedback directly to the sales manager for their national accounts, just to let her know, like, hey, this was something I did receive. And she actually told me, actually, we have had other reports of that, and so we're looking at maybe reformulating it. So I guess if there is something consistent that gets present, then it's actually really helpful to be able to give that feedback directly. Yeah, I mean, you can't just go off of one person, right? Yeah. You need some consistency, and that tells you, this is hitting me in the face, I better make an adjustment if I want to keep selling this. That makes sense. Is there anything that you've, like, what have you taken from like your experience behind the bar that you use now? That is, does that allow you to put yourself in their shoes? Oh yeah. When you're making suggestions. Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is just recognizing that everyone's space and what that space needs is different. So again, like going into one bar that's like more high volume, kind of like a dive bar, like again, it's all about what meets the brief. Like I'm not going to go in and try to sell, a really fun, cool, like melon liqueur and like random eau de vies and things like that. I actually have one buyer who works for more of like one of those high volume bars, Sazerac down the road. He makes great cocktails, but I'll like bring him fun, nerdy ingredients. And he's like, he'll always tell me like, thank you for bringing this. I love it. I like want this for my home bar, but like, I can't work with this because like, it's too expensive. Like I don't have a need. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's just fun. I wanted you to see it. So recognizing the like, hey, like certain places need just like, affordability is something even in the craft space like everyone needs right now, like again, just with the economy being what it is. So affordability is the main thing, but then also like there are certain accounts that will make more sense for the more nerdy esoteric products than others, and that's totally okay. So I always try to not waste people's time, because I remember when I was a beverage director, I was running a Japanese style cocktail program at a Harumi.
Yeah.
And I had reps that would come in like middle of service on like a Thursday night, Friday night while I'm in the well making a bunch of drinks. Like, hey, I wanted to sell you this mezcal. And I'm like, dude, like, first of all, wrong bar to try. Like, I don't have a placement for mezcal in a Japanese sushi bar.
Right.
I already have enough. And also, like, please don't bother me in the middle of service. So just being conscientious.
I'm right in the middle making 5 drinks, bro.
Yes, exactly. So being conscientious of what people need and respectful of their time are kind of the biggest things that I've taken away with it.
Yeah, also being from here, right? You know, like, oh, this area likes, not this area, but what I should say is, like what sells in different areas, right?
Correct.
The socio-demographic. Is that something you guys look at? Do you guys have numbers, the socio-demographic numbers too, or
that would be interesting?
Or just sales numbers?
I wish we were that organized.
Okay.
No, yeah, we don't necessarily have. I mean, I think that we just kind of operate on kind of general understandings of our markets. So I specifically was brought on to be like
sales numbers and stuff, right?
Yeah. So I was brought on specifically to be a spirits heavy sales rep, and so they assigned me most of downtown, some uptown, like all of the craftier spots, because all of my coworkers come from wine background, and so there was just a little bit of a gap in knowledge of like there wasn't any one sales rep that could like speak specifically to spirits with the same level of expertise as they could with wine.
Gotcha.
And so, like, for example, if you were to like take me out of downtown and put me into North Scottsdale with the country clubs and try to sell them like big Napa cabs, I would do horribly. So it's not my world. But I mean, and I don't necessarily bring out, those types of like, big buttery Chardonnays or like Napa cabs, things like that to downtown, because I know that's not what they want.
Yeah.
But it's not to knock those products and those types of wine, because they sell like crazy in other markets and do really, really well. So
what's your area? Mostly.
Yeah, I'm very, very central to downtown. So these guys obviously tap that.
Yeah.
So I sell them the wines on the keg. And then I have a whole bunch downtown. So like Little Rituals and Bitter and Twisted, Industry Standard and First and Last and Sake House. I have probably about 50 accounts in like the little downtown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really nice when the weather's nice because I can park in one spot and just like walk everywhere.
Walk around,
not so much in the summer, especially with the big wine bag. And then I have some uptown stuff, so like Century Grand and Undertow and like Valentine and places like that.
Okay, so you mostly sell the wine down here, or no, spirits down here?
Mostly spirits, and then I do have some accounts that are only wine or predominantly wine. So Sauvage obviously only buys wine, and then Valentine is really wine heavy. So it depends on the account.
Well, yeah, I mean when you open a place like this, it's the B&W license, right? Beer and wine, so they can sell both if they want to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So
that it's hand in hand.
Yeah, and they do a good job here. So.
Oh I love coming here.
Yeah,
and
it's great.
I live all the way out in Surprise, so it's a little drive for me.
Oh wow, yeah, that is a drive for you. Do you come to downtown and uptown Phoenix frequently? Like, do you have most of your favorite spots over this way?
I do have favorite spots this way, but I don't come to as frequently as I'd like to.
Understandable. I never go to Surprise, so.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's really nothing out there yet, but maybe one day.
Maybe you'll have to open a spot and be a masochist. Now that we've talked about how fun and easy it is to open a restaurant.
Yeah, we just got a spot just opened up called Manny's Place out there.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a craft beer bar, but I think they have a couple wines on tap, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. I feel like you always have to have at least a couple. Like, I know Tap That obviously is mostly beer.
Yeah.
But you have to have a couple for the people that don't necessarily drink it.
Because if you come in a group, there's maybe one or two that don't want a beer.
Yes.
Then you have wine for them.
Exactly.
And it a lot less expensive than a liquor license too.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. And that is part of the expense and the challenge, certainly, of opening a spot.
Yeah, but down here, I mean, the beer bar is just right here in this area. Well, the beer locations in this right here in this like 3-block area right here.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, we have Tap That. There's Formation.
Yes.
There's Greenwood.
Yeah.
Sana Sana is one of my favorites of all. I love
just
that
went
place.
there for the first time actually recently because again I don't drink as much beer, but they did a collaboration with Hirachis, and so they did like it was like a spiced fruited ale. What was it? It's something spicy and like juicy and delicious.
Okay.
So we went for the launch over there. So I think they're gonna have it in cans at Hirachis, and then they'll obviously have it at the tap room. It's really good.
Oh yeah, so I love that. And then like even a little bit further down, you have Arizona Wilderness and
so good.
Pedal House. So yeah, I like coming down here. I don't come here, like I said, as often as I'd like to, but that might be a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Good on my wallet and my liver.
Yeah, with how many spaces, you don't want to go on a bar crawl down here. That would hit you in the wallet and the liver pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but when I do like coming down here.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for Roshim and everything for setting this up. Because we've been doing this almost like 2 years now, almost.
So crazy.
Every once a month, I come down here and interview someone.
It.
Yeah.
Well, so exciting.
Some go as easy as this. Some a little bit challenged.
Okay, got it. I'm glad we're able to talk about wine and things. So it works out.
What kind of wines do you like? Since you brought it up.
I actually really love like dry, super mineral, almost like salinity whites. So like Vino Verdes and Albariños.
I don't think I've ever had any of those.
Oh, they're so good. So like Portuguese and like Spanish wines. They just have this really like bright, just like minerality to them, almost like licking this inside of an oyster shell. They're
Is
really
it like
good.
the terroir that gives it the...
Yeah, so Vino Verde and Albariño are actually like really close geographically. They're all kind of grown in the same area. So like northern Portugal, like right along the coast.
Like next to Porto?
Yes, a little bit further north, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's both in Spain and also Portugal, at the very, very top northern part of the country. And so you get this cooling climate influence from the ocean breeze coming in, that just creates these really nice cold little pockets, and so you just get like ripping acid for those grapes. They're really good. And Vino Verdes especially, Albariño, it depends. There's kind of like a sliding scale, but I notice Vino Verdes tend to be very affordably priced across the board.
Oh, that's good.
So those are really fun. Yeah, absolutely. And then I also am a sucker for German and Austrian Rieslings, which again I think most Americans associate Rieslings in the same kind of category as Moscato, like just really sweet.
Yeah, just
really
like
juicy.
me. That's why. Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I associate them.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, when I first started drinking, when I was freshly 21, I was drinking barefoot Moscato all day, which I'm grateful I outgrew that. But German and Austrian Rieslings, same thing. They're grown on, typically the Mosel is the most famous region, really steep slopes along the river.
Yeah.
And so they get just ripping acidity. They have this really mouth-watering effect that makes it great with like Thai food or like spicy food specifically.
Okay, yeah.
It offsets really well.
Pairings right there.
Oh my God, yeah, it's so good. So like Lam Wang, they have like I think the biggest Riesling bottle list in the state because they have such great Thai food. So the Rieslings go really great. But so those are typically what I gravitate towards for whites, and then reds. Again, depends on my mood. Like if I'm eating food, I have started getting more into the pairing kind of setup. Like I love how pairing wine with food elevates both, where you get like the best parts of the food coming forward, and it just elevates the wine. But if I'm just like sitting having a glass, without food, I really do like the juicier fruit forward style reds. A lot of Paso projects I really like. Field Recordings has some really great stuff coming out of Paso.
Field Recording, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh, I love Field Recordings. It's a winemaker named Andrew Jones, and he grew wine for a bunch of other people and actually learned how to, he's like a farmer first and foremost, so he was going around all over the country helping wine growers in their fields, actually make the soil better and make sure that the vines were really healthy to get really great grapes. And he started his own project called Field Recordings, which was a ode to that, like all of his little recordings and notes from being out in the field. I think it's also a music pun. But yeah, he gets most of his grapes from Paso, some like Happy Valley, Santa Barbara area. And he has some really juicy, fun, like light, crushable reds.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'm going out there in a couple months.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, for a beer festival, though.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, I'll give you an itinerary for wine, but you might already be tapped out on the beer by that point.
Yeah. I'm going to be in and out just real quick just for the Firestone Walker Invitational.
Oh, awesome. That's so fun.
Yeah,
they make great beers.
Yeah. Speaking of festivals, are there wine festivals here? There has to be wine festivals here, right?
Oh, there are certainly, but I'm the wrong person to ask. I live under a rock. I know that there is one that they were doing recently. I think it just happened. That was specific to Arizona wineries because we actually do have quite a few out here.
Oh yeah. Like Merkin.
Yes, Merkin is one of the ones I carry. I love Merkin.
Oh really?
Yeah, we actually just did an event at the theater with them because Pucifer concert was in town,
Have you ever
so we
met
did a
Maynard?
tasting. No,
Okay.
they are very protective of him. They're like, he's not going to be at the wine events, but I've heard he's great and he makes great wine. So
yeah, and great music too.
Yes, I love it.
So what about? I know there's spirits events because my friend Joe Lopez he puts on the what do you call it? The Whiskey Fest.
Yeah.
It's like the second year this past year, right?
The biggest one too that we do in the state is Agave Heritage Fest, which is down in Tucson.
Okay.
Which is actually coming up. I think it's either this week or next week. Again, I live under a rock. I'm the wrong person to ask, but Agave Heritage Fest I think is probably the largest spirits event that we have in Arizona. So there's tequila and mezcal producers, and we even have a Bacanora producer that's going to be there this year. But it's huge, and so all of the agave nerds, like people will travel from out of state to come visit it.
Well, that what do you call it? The Rose event, all right? The Rose celebration is going to happen soon.
Oh, okay.
Down there in Tucson, is it wrapped up in that too?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure. I need to go down to Tucson. It's been a minute since I've been down there. They have so many great restaurants down there now.
Yeah, like I said, I've been here since 2016, and I barely heard about that whole Rose event maybe last year.
Yeah.
When I was talking with the guy who owns Tombstone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me, I'm like, what is this? The largest rose bush in America?
Crazy.
Or no, in the world, I think.
Oh, in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I told you, I'm like, I didn't know that we could grow rose bushes that big here in
Right?
Arizona.
I thought it was too hot.
Although I guess Tucson, I always forget it's such higher elevation down there. So I should assume it makes
They get a
sense.
lot more rain than we do.
Yeah,
It always
absolutely.
seems like during monsoon, it's always like, it's always raining down in Tucson.
I know.
Seems
Maybe we
like
should just
it.
relocate there. We got rose bushes, we got agave. We're set down there.
Right. Well, Alana, thank you so much for hanging out with me
Of
and
course.
talking about what you do. And is there anything you'd like to promote or?
Well, I would love to touch on Gotham Project, actually, since Bro pours it here and has been a big supporter of them.
Let's talk about Gotham Project.
Gotham Project is kegged wine, so you can find them here at Tap That.
Yeah.
And if you have another local wine bar that has wines on tap and they don't have Gotham Project, you should tell them to get it.
Yeah.
It was founded by two guys that actually met through a distributor called Skurnik, and they were both from wine backgrounds. One had been from like an import-export family and started training in Burgundy, and then the other, he makes wines with his father in Provence, making rosé, of course, as one does in Provence. But they decided, this was back in 2010, so right at the beginning of kind of the kegged wine boom. They wanted to take really high quality wines that would be, on a normal by the glass list, not, big producers, big box brands. They wanted to take like small family producers and just put them in kegs, just for sustainability purposes, and then also to keep costs low for restaurants and trickle down to the consumers. And so they have a bunch of different projects that they put in kegs. So here at Tap That, they have Chardonnay. They also have a rosé coming from Provence, actually from Charles's Vineyard. And then they also have a Sauvignon Blanc. So some pretty great wines on tap.
Yeah. And Gotham Project, it's just a cool name.
Yeah, it's fun. I was trying to figure out actually where they got the name from, and I don't know. But yeah, they make great wines.
Yeah. And they're out of their Northeast?
So they're based in California, technically. Like, that's where they bring the wine into.
Oh, okay.
But they source wine from all over the world. So the Sauvignon Blanc we have on tap actually is from Chile. The rosé, I said, is from Provence. And then the Chardonnay that they have right now is from Sonoma Coast. But they started out with a Riesling from the Finger Lakes area, which is crazy. I've never had a Riesling from the Finger Lakes, but that was like kind of their first big project that they started working on.
Very nice. All right. Well, we'll have to try some when we stop here.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.